Rhett Gulledge is a junior at Centennial High School. He's a member of the varsity football team and National Honor Society. Rhett's attended Preston Trail his whole life and made the decision to follow Jesus in 8th grade. Rhett's family hosts an 11th grade boys home group, and Rhett enjoys sports, hanging out with friends, and being around other people. Please welcome Rhett Gulledge to the High Def stage.
What's up, everybody? It's so cool to see so many of you here this weekend. They told me that there are over 600 students here. That's a lot more than the 20 people I usually have to speak in front of in class. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great High Def experience so far. As you probably heard, my name is Rhett Gulledge. I'm a junior at Centennial High School, and I've lived here in Frisco, Texas my entire life. This weekend, we're going to be talking a lot about the theme of being made for more, and tonight, I'm here to share with you a little bit about what that means to me, because I never fully understood it until I encountered the true and unconditional love that Christ has for each of us. So, I grew up in a Christian home, and probably like many of you, church was a pretty regular part of my life. Every Sunday, I went to church because my parents made me. They told me it was good for me, but I honestly couldn't understand why it was so important to them. I didn't have a connection with anyone there, and the messages just didn't resonate with me. Church felt more like a routine, a weekly obligation. So I went through the motions without any real commitment. When I was in middle school, my resistance to church grew stronger, and I started to actively avoid it. I complained, I begged, I did whatever I could to get out of going. In an attempt to get me connected, my parents signed me up for High Def. And though I wasn't interested, I could tell they were excited, so I reluctantly agreed to give it a try. Now, if you're thinking that this is the point where I had the time of my life and was forever changed, you'd be wrong. I didn't want to be there. I didn't understand why I was there. It just felt like another obligation, another thing I had to do because my parents wanted me to. Not long after that, even though my parents continued inviting me to church, they stopped forcing me to attend. And though I could tell they were disappointed, I felt free. When I began high school, I started to feel a lot of social pressure, so I poured my energy into gaining the approval of my friends. I surrounded myself with people and things that I thought would give me value. My number one goal was to feel seen and accepted by my peers. Don't get me wrong, I made new friends and had a lot of fun experiences, and I had hoped that these things would bring me fulfillment, but they didn't. No matter how much I tried to fit in, no matter how much attention I got, no matter how hard I worked, no matter my accomplishments in school or extracurriculars, it wasn't enough. Deep down, I knew something was missing. Little did I know, God had already put things into motion and change was coming. The fall of my freshman year, my mom offered to host the 9th grade guys home group at our house. My first thought was that this was the worst idea ever. I didn't want strangers in my house every week talking about the Bible and other stuff I wasn't interested in. And when she suggested that I invite some of my friends from school, absolutely not. I thought she had lost her mind. But despite my protest, Sunday rolled around, and before I knew it, there was a big group of freshman guys in my living room. At first, it was just okay, but week by week, something began to change. I started to bond with the guys who came to our home group. We'd eat together, read the Bible, and the best part was playing football in the street. I began looking forward to these Sunday afternoons, and I realized if I was going to get anything out of this, I had to stop resisting. It was time to fully commit. This was the start of my real search for fulfillment. From that point on, I dove in. I attended every service, every home group, and every youth event. I got involved in everything that the church had to offer, and I spent more time with the friends I'd made. We hung out together, we went to summer camp, and a few of us even went to Mission Arlington, which I totally recommend, by the way, so make sure you sign up. Through those experiences and relationships, I began to see things differently. And guess what? Eventually, I did invite my friends from school, and they started coming on Sundays too. Looking back now, I can see that church wasn't the problem. It was my attitude. I was simply going through the motions, observing rather than engaging. I wasn't open to the experience. and I wasn't allowing myself to be vulnerable or open myself up to see what God had for me. What I didn't realize was that by avoiding church, I was also avoiding the very thing that could give me the identity and purpose that I was desperately searching for. As I got to know God better, I started to realize that all the things I had been chasing, popularity, success, and approval from others, they could never fulfill me. They were temporary, fleeting, and ultimately empty. What I needed, what I longed for, was something eternal. And that's exactly what I found in Christ. As I stand here today, I want to remind you of something I wish I had understood sooner. You were made for more. You were made for more than the temporary things you might be chasing. You were made for more than the approval of others and the pursuit of success. You were made to know God, to live for Him, and to be filled with His love and His grace. Only in Christ will you find the fulfillment that you've been searching for. Listen, I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I still sometimes fall into the trap of searching for identity and purpose in other places. But what I've learned is this. My identity is not found in who I am or what people think of me. They are found of who I am in Him. He's called me to something bigger than just living for myself. He's called me to live with purpose, to love others, to serve, and to share His hope with the world. He has a plan for me, and He has one for you too. No matter where you are in your journey, know that you are made for more. Your identity, purpose, and eternity are found in Christ, who created you and me for something far greater than we could ever imagine. So, my final advice is this. Take action, dive in, and don't settle for less than what God has for you. Thank you.